Good afternoon, everyone. A little impromptu video after the one I released earlier today, but that is because we have got some exciting new news from Planet Zoo today, and that is to do with animal talks and animal educators. So it's something that a lot of people have been hoping to have in the game for quite a while now, and yeah, we have finally got some news on it. So the post was made just a little while ago by Frontier on the forums and posted on social media, which you may have seen already, saying that this is a new system that will be added into the base game. So it will be part of an update, a normal update for the game, not as a paid DLC. So everyone will be able to make use of it. Obviously, as they state, the education in zoos is very important, and a lot of zoos, if not all zoos, will have some form of animal talks, whether it be fairly small scale or large scale, more show type things, that sort of thing. So it's something that a lot of people wanted for that added element, and I believe it was shown in some of the earlier footage from the game before it was released, and then seemed to be kind of cut out. So yeah, a lot of people were saying, where's it gone? Why is it not there anymore? So yes, it looks like we are going to be getting quite an interesting and fairly complex system for this as well. So we will have a new staff member, a new staff type, which will be an actual educator, and they will be the ones who do the talks, and we'll also have a sort of special area for these to take place, so similar to the education points that we currently have in the TV screens and the speakers and things like that. We'll have an animal talk point, and they will be placed near a habitat barrier or an exhibit, and then selected to the actual species that you want to talk to the guests to be spoken about. So the system is fairly complex. It will have a whole new tab, a new information panel, everything like that, and you can have obviously multiple talks all around in your zoo, which is very cool. And the post goes into detail about how you will actually have to make sure you don't really have like clashes and things like that, especially if you only have limited amount of educators in your zoo. You need to make sure that they'll definitely be able to attend all of them, rather than being stuck at one while another one is scheduled to be on at the same time. So it will be quite an important thing to try and manage. We will also have to, have the option to incorporate these into work zones as well. These animal talks and the talk points to a work zone. And we can have some music, which we can play when they're not taking place, and yeah, obviously added in a scheduling feature as well. So there's a couple of really cool elements as well that are spoken about, which we maybe didn't even expect to be included, because they seem quite complex again, just sort of extra things that maybe we didn't even think we would get. So one of these is that the educators in some talks, and depending on how you set up the talk and the habitat, if there's no obstructions, things like that, the educators may actually throw food into the habitat within the talk, depending on the species and stuff. It does say it depends on the species and it won't be available for every animal, but that is a really cool feature that, yeah, I suppose a lot of us wouldn't have expected. We would have just expected a person to stand outside an enclosure and just talk and have visitors around, but to have that actual interaction where they might throw food in is a really cool little addition there. It'll be interesting to see how exactly it works in terms of barrier heights, and it does mention specifically if there's no water there. So yeah, it will probably depend a lot on where you place it, how the habitat's set up, the species inside, but it's definitely a really cool element that we'll have. And it also goes into detail about interactions from the animals' point of view as well, so some animals might actually come over to the talk and see what's going on, have some sort of maybe some new animations there for certain species, so that will be a really cool one to have in the game as well. Some extra little animations, some extra detailing there. So that is a general overview. We've got 2 images in the post, so I'll pop them up now. So we've got 2 images. So the first image, so this talk is based at a panda habitat, and we can see the educator there in her special uniform, which some people say they would like to change the colour of, and I agree, purple's not my favourite colour, but maybe we'll change it. Maybe, I mean, all the other staff, we can't change their uniforms and stuff. I guess they choose it to make them stand out, look different from sort of an ease point of view. If you're walking around, you know exactly what that person is if you want to pick them up or whatever and move them somewhere. We've got their special uniform, and then we can also see the actual point, the education point, the talk point, which has got a little podium with a little owl on it, which is quite cute, with a book, and a taller speaker system behind it, which I assume are attached, but maybe they are separate things, but it looks like they are attached. So those are the points that we'll see, and we can also see a little group of people standing there watching the lady do her talk. Nothing else in the image stands out especially new. It's hard to tell in the back left hand side there what that structure is, but it could easily just be some sort of custom roof or something like that. So yeah, it doesn't look like there's a huge amount new other than the actual educators, but that's fine because it's a big thing. In the second image, it's the same habitat but from a slightly different angle. We've got a different woman there doing another talk. Looks like she's getting quite into the talk, doing a sort of growly face. That's what it kind of looks like. So I guess she's talking about bears. Maybe she's talking about that. So that might mean that with every talk, maybe we'll have certain animations from the actual staff themselves. So maybe they'll tailor the actual look of the educator and their actions to the animal, which will be quite cool. Maybe if they're talking about something, a carnivore or something like that, a bear, a tiger, things like that, maybe they'll do certain animations to mimic like a growling, that sort of thing, and other animations for different species. That'd be quite interesting, but we don't really know a huge amount about that, but I'm sure we'll get more information soon. Again, you can't really see too much else in the picture that looks new. No random plants or construction items or paths or anything like that look new in there, but yeah, just a nice look at the different the podium and the actual educators and what they look like. Maybe some of that will be recolorable as well, the podium, but we will wait and see. So I think that is pretty much everything. Obviously they go into detail about how educators with more training will increase happiness and education value and things like that. Animals talks will be cancelled if they don't turn up, where they actually gather the guests around, which is quite an important thing, and yeah, it emphasises about scheduling. You can have one educator doing several talks, but you need to plan your talks, make sure, I guess, that you have a certain structure to them, or make sure that they are covered properly. So yeah, that is a very short briefing and a few thoughts on the education or animal educator system, which seems, as I said, really cool. A big thing that a lot of people ask for, and looks like they've gone above and beyond, I say, what our expectations probably would have been, with the interactions, the actual throwing of food in, and maybe a variety of different actions and things like that for different species when they do the talks. So yeah, a really exciting thing coming to us. We don't know exactly when. It says within a few weeks, hopefully. but we will wait and see. So yeah, that is a little briefing on the video. If you'd like to read the post in detail, then I will pop a little link in down below if you haven't already seen it on any of Planet Zoo's social media platforms. I will bring you up to speed with any more news if we get any more news at any point. And yeah, hopefully I will see you in the next one.